to the WDW News Today Podcast. I'm Eric Morton. With me is Tom Corliss. Hello, Tom.
We're two dudes in sweaters.
You may notice we were gone for a week and a little more than a week because we are changing the release schedule of the podcast.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about the channel changes at all, or are we...
Are we too early? I don't know if it's a little too early.
No, I think the publishing on this channel is not too early. Like, we know what that's going to be, right? Is that true?
Yeah, we know what's...
The podcast is no longer... Yeah, go ahead.
To fight the YouTube algorithm, so what happens is, especially in August, September, and November, because we're news-centric, and we post every show and every attraction that debuts and all of those things, we post a lot of videos, especially in the early Halloween season and the early Christmas season. And that tends to hurt the other programs because YouTube's like, you're putting out too much. You're just spamming us.
Well,
I don't think we should.
It's a little bit more nuanced than that. What we think is, even though we're an established channel that has a lot of subscribers and has been around for a long time, that doesn't mean that YouTube permanently, like if there's a Dewey Decimal System for like what our channel is, that is always a moving target. So it thinks like you're a news channel, but when you're posting a lot of stuff that's not news, which is like the example I'll use that I kind of did through some research was like there was a Loki versus Black Panther video we posted from our cruise. And next thing you know, YouTube is trying to send, instead of sending us to people that are interested in news, it's sending us to people who are interested in comic books. Yeah. And they're not going to watch the Disney news. So the idea is to keep the channel a little bit more focused, and it involves the tempo and it involves the subject matter, right? So
I guess POVs also fall under their own, like theme park ride videos are kind of their own thing in YouTube.
I would say classify like park experiences.
Yeah.
I think a POV ride is relevant to the same audience that might be watching a parade or that might be wanting to look at a room tour or, do sort of like put themselves into a Disney experience.
Yeah. And so we're going to move those to a new channel. But then on this channel will be News Today with WDW News Today. That's going to be twice a week now. That's Monday and Thursday starting the new year. And then
Tell them why.
What do you mean why?
Because Friday's always not good traffic.
Friday's always the worst performing episode of the news. And so we decided we should just not have the Friday show. And then to fill out the weekend, this show will move to Saturday. So this will be a Saturday. Well, this is starting now.
Yep.
We're just starting this early. So Saturday will be the podcast. And then the other thing that will be on the channel, the honest reviews. Those will remain here. That may change over time, but that's the idea with this channel for the time being. Obviously, changes are happening on the TV channel. News Tonight's going away February 5th. Some new shows will debut there. There'll be some changes. But there will be 2 new channels in the new year. More on those at a later date. But we're already filming things for those channels.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on because with News Tonight going away, there's obviously things that we need to do to continue to create a lot of great content. Yeah. We appreciate the Wigs watching. They're watching live with us right now. If you want to learn more about becoming a Wigs member, you can go to www.nt.com/Patreon or patreon.com/WDWNT. For as little as $2 a month, and then at different levels you get different things. At certain levels you get to watch us do this live. Certain levels you get post shows when we do live programming, discounts to events, early access to merchandise was actually a big one this year.
Yeah,
discounts on merchandise and early access. Like this was the year of carousel of products for our company, right? This is when we went from like let's sell a few T-shirts to like let's make this like a thing. Yeah. Let's do stuff. Let's punch way above our weight and sell giant 8-foot tall inflatable dinosaurs, and let's do custom plush. And let's
magnet of the month program.
Let's sell way more magnets than anyone thought was possible.
Yeah.
So
anyway, it was a really fun year for carousel products. I'm excited for next year. We got I think next week we're going to launch another product related to the magnet of the month program.
Oh, it's fun.
So stay tuned for that.
It's a fun
We're going to give you guys a breather till Christmas. I know we had a lot of product this year. So.
We should do a boxed-in episode to launch that product because
probably
there's some crossover there.
It does make sense. Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I know some wigs, the Club 33 and up, got to see the product, so they already know. But don't spoil it for everybody else.
Don't spoil it. Obviously, we're going into the holidays, Christmas, my favorite time of year, normally.
In the middle of Hanukkah.
Yeah, we're on day 6 of, tomorrow when this airs will be day 7 of Hanukkah.
7?
Yeah. So, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, whatever holiday, Happy Festivus, Kwanzaa, all the holidays, they all are concentrated in this time of year. This is my favorite time of year. The weather in Orlando is great right now. I love it. And
we might have a nice Christmas at Castaway.
Yeah, so you're going. My dad is also. I just found out today. My dad is going on a cruise for Christmas. He's going Royal Caribbean. You're going on a Disney cruise for Christmas, and yeah, everyone's jealous.
Is he on like their private island on Christmas Day? Is that a thing?
Okay, my dad's 80.
Yeah.
So I asked him like, "What ship are you on?" Okay, what ship are we on? I don't know. So it's some ship, something of the seas. And I'm like, well, every Royal Caribbean ship. Right. So like, where are you going? Well, I think Nassau and then some island they have, So it was like, I didn't get real specific information from him.
Yeah. I have friends doing one that goes to their island on Christmas Day and is like, oh, we're doing Castaway on Christmas Day. So everyone's on a tropical island for Christmas.
Not me. We've already decided we are doing the lazy Christmas.
Yeah.
Like breakfast casserole, pajama pants, watch who knows what. It's going to be like 2 or 3 of us. Pizza rolls for lunch. Like,
nice.
Just like we're going to be just, we always dial it up. We're like I would say we're like kind of normally like the hosts for a large segment of our friend group where we put on Thanksgiving and there's a lot of effort and there's a lot of time and everything involved in this.
I was supposed to go to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you missed it. And this Christmas we're just going to be like, nope, it's super chill.
Yeah.
Like I bought a few Christmas presents. I haven't bought them all. I shipped out all the packages I could. And it's not, to me it's not about presents. I mean, I know people say that, but when I was a kid though, it was about the whole experience.
What was the best Christmas gift you ever got?
Oh, man. Okay, so this is easy, and this will date me a little bit.
This will be the thing.
So,
sorry.
I remember waking up. So we did Christmas different than a lot of families. Big slug of Christmas was on Christmas Eve. So my grandparents would come over on my mom's side. My mom's parents would come over, and then my dad, mom, brother, sister. We'd all get a big slug of presents on Christmas Eve. Presents from our grandparents would come on Christmas Eve. I think presents from the parents. And then Christmas morning was Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So, so Santa didn't even wrap most of the presents. Santa would just say like, here's a section, like this chair in this corner of the living room has Eric's stocking and it has all this stuff. And this one is Andy's and this one is Hillary's, which caused a problem one year when Andy got up early and I got a drum set for Christmas and Andy got up early and moved it over with his stuff. And my parents had to be like, I think Santa wanted Eric to have that. So
that's amazing. You just slid it over.
Yeah. So maybe that's why I never became a great musician.
The origin
But
story.
no, the thing I got that I will never forget is the Death Star. Set up, built, out there in the living room waiting. That and that was a big one, the Death Star. And that was the one where you had the little Nerf pieces in the trash compactor and you turn it and they'd pop out of the door.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. Star Wars was obviously a big deal. And the other big one was one year we get like in our stockings, we got these little like things like about this size. So I'm like, what is that? And my brother knew. He's like, that's an Atari cartridge. That's a game cartridge. And I'm like, what's that? So then the hunt was on. He knew we got an Atari, but Santa had not put it with our stuff. It was hidden somewhere in the house. So we had to go find the Atari, and that was a big deal, the Atari. I know. Yes, I'm old.
Mine was a video game console, Nintendo 64. I'll never forget.
Were you that kid?
Getting
Nintendo
the N64.
64.
Kind of, yeah. It was the worst kept secret, though. So my Aunt Dari, who is wonderful, wonderful, but of course she didn't know what toys or video games were. So she just would my father knew toys very well, as you know. And so she just call and be like, what does he want for Christmas? He'd be like, well, I want the Nintendo 64. And she's like, I don't know what that is, but can you get it? Because I don't know where to get that. And so my father, it was hard to get. And so my father, I think, went all over the place to find it, and he finally found it somewhere. And then, but I think I saw there was like a gift with purchase. It was a backpack with the N64 logo, and I think I found the backpack the week before Christmas. I was like, "What's this? What could this be?"
I did find some Christmas presents when I was a kid. Got in trouble going like, it was like, do you ever have a Simon?
No,
you know Simon, we got it. I remember finding a Simon, but Nintendo 64, that's a big one.
Yeah, so then Christmas, like the box was put on my lap, and I had a big smile. Like I knew what it was already, but man, I'll never forget that next. It was too late that night. We couldn't plug it in that night, but that next morning I got up as early as humanly possible, and that thing, my mother came down the steps, and we were already knee deep in Super Mario 64.
So that was a good game. I still think maybe one of the best titles of all time was Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
GoldenEye was the 64 too, right?
Played GoldenEye. So I didn't have brothers or sisters. So I had a cousin. I have a cousin, Michael, who's like 5 years older, so close enough. And then my father's a giant child. And so the three of us would play the multiplayer of GoldenEye.
I can't even imagine your dad. Hey, no golden gun. What are you doing?
Absolutely. It was golden. I used to be like, oh, let's play with golden gun. And he gets so mad. One shot. I'm not going to use some of the language that was used. One shot, come on. Oh.
No golden gun, Tommy.
Golden gun is BS. Get that golden gun out. So then the rule became only rocket launchers.
And no odd job.
We didn't even play the single player enough to have Odd Job available. Oh. So we didn't even know about until later. Like someone brought it into my old job, and like it was a thing for us to do on lunch. And they picked Odd Job, and everyone's yelling at them. And I'm like, "What's the problem with Odd Job?" They're like, well, he's shorter, so it's harder to shoot him.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, okay, but yeah, we used to do. You had all the other guns, but the you could pick a primary weapon as was the rocket launcher, and that was insane. And who didn't spend hours with one of your family members trapped in the vents above the bathroom while you shot rockets into the bathroom vents? Many a day of yelling spent in those vents.
So I haven't unpacked. I mean, when my brother passed away, Andy passed away, I cleaned out his apartment, and there's absolutely a Nintendo 64 in there and a number of games. I need to unpack those and see what I got and see if everything works and give it a shot.
My N64 died. Do you want to know how?
Did you drive it through a 5-foot puddle of water?
That was my car. No. Oh, it's more insane. A tree fell on it.
What?
We had a house in upstate New York, Monticello, like a cabin. And so I brought like older video games up there to play whenever we'd go up there in the summer. And so the N64 was there. A tree fell through the roof and landed directly on the Nintendo 64. The tree was on the Nintendo 64.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't currently have one. I think Nintendo released the tiny one. Did that happen? The remake?
Yeah, I don't
like they did of the Super Nintendo. Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's hard to keep
I don't know if
up.
I missed it. I would get it. But
and I have a number of different video game systems, mostly from Andy, right? Because things mostly I'd gotten rid of. So like Xbox 360, got rid of it.
Yeah.
Xbox One, got rid of that. I have an Xbox, whatever the cheap one is, the X or the S or whatever.
I haven't gotten the new. Well, that's not true.
You got to get the PS5 when we got to play on Twitch when GTA 5 finally comes out.
It's
or
6,
I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll finally get a PS5. But yeah, I bought a Switch because I like Nintendo, and that also I travel a lot, so I was like, oh, a portable console that's also like the regular console. That sounds great. So I have the Switch too, also, but I haven't played in a couple months. Like I played Donkey Kong Bonanza for the first 2 weeks it was out, and I got stuck on a level, and then it hasn't been taken out since. We'll see what happens.
I used to have a TurboGrafx 16. You probably don't even know what that was.
I know what it is.
And the games came on like a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
You're used to the like cartridges you blow on.
Yeah.
It's great.
My father like collected consoles before I was born, so he had a lot of weird ones. You have a Jaguar?
Yeah.
Jaguar was a weird.
Was that
one.
made by Sega?
It was an Atari.
That
was like the last gasp.
Oh, I'm thinking of
the Jaguar.
What was the Sega one that played like hyper-realistic game? Was
Dreamcast?
No.
Saturn?
Was it the
32X?
Yeah.
CD?
So which one had Tomcat Alley? Was that the Saturn? I think it was
That
the
might have been
Saturn.
that or the CD.
Yeah.
We had all of those. So the Sega made a lot of big mistakes in the mid-90s. And so the attachments to the Genesis went on sale for
That was a
very
32X
little.
thing,
Yeah.
right?
But there were
you
multiple
played Doom
attachments, right?
3D.
Because
Yeah.
there was the CD, but then there was also the 32X. So by the time you're done with this thing, it was a monstrosity.
The Frankenstein
'Cause
gaming
the
system.
console sat in a tray and with the disk drive sitting next to it, and so it looked like a food tray thing. But then the other thing sat in where the cartridge went, so it was a big like mushroom cloud on top of the console, and you put a cartridge in it. It was ridiculous.
So I heard since we're talking about Christmas stories, I heard a Christmas story from your father.
Yeah.
And it might be the Nintendo 64. It could be a PlayStation. I'm not sure. What I know is that
Xbox.
was it the Xbox?
I know the story.
You were in Times Square at Toys R Us, right?
Yep.
Or was it Toys R Us?
Toys R Us, Times Square, yeah.
Times Square. And Tom sees the Xbox he wants.
Yeah.
And he says, I want this Xbox. His dad is like, I get it, but like what Tom doesn't know is I've already bought this for him for Christmas. It's at home like hiding. And he said, no, we don't need to get that right now. And Tom said, oh no, I want this right now and I'm not leaving until I – I'm going to tell you your dad's side of the story.
Yeah, I know
your
his
dad's
side.
side of
We
the story.
argue about it all
He
the
said,
time.
I ain't leaving. What do you mean you're not leaving? He's like, I'm not leaving. He goes, so I just left him there in the middle of Times Square. And then your dad –
I left my child in the middle of Times Square. Well, anything a responsible parent would do.
So he goes, who knows where he goes, gets distracted, goes to some other store or someplace nearby, and thinks you'll eventually come out. Nope. He said, I went back there. He just was standing there, said he wouldn't leave until he got it.
It didn't go that
And so I had to tell him, hey, when we get home, you got an Xbox, and I got it for you already, and we'll play it then.
He has so much of that story wrong.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what actually happened.
It's still a good story.
So in the weeks leading up, we spent most of my childhood either at Disney World or at Toys R Us. That was my child because my father collected toys. So every Saturday with Toys R Us, we knew all the employees. We knew everybody. It was a thing. And so I said I would like an Xbox. He's like, okay. And so we kept checking. And obviously it was a holiday season, so they kept selling out. So what I didn't know was apparently we were at our local Toys R Us one Saturday, and he told the gentleman who's the manager we knew, he's like, he bought it that day. And he said to him, my son's going to come in and ask if you have them. Tell him you don't. So I asked him, he said, no, they don't. He's like, oh, it's a shame. Don't worry, we'll get it. That's what my father said. And so we went to Times Square. All the regular stores had little stock, and so it's sold out. But Times Square, obviously, is the biggest Toys R Us on earth. So, of course, they have stock for days of everything. So they got a shipment, and it was trucks and trucks. So they just had, every other store is out. There's a stack of them, like a pyramid. Someone took the time to make like one of those pyramids.
An Xbox
out
pyramid.
of the Xboxes. And so I'm like, oh, I found it. And I showed him. And you could see on his face the defeat. Where he's like, he'll never find it before Christmas, so it'll be this big surprise. And I turn around and you could just see his face where he's like, oh no. And so I've got it. And it wasn't like I asked for it and he said we'd get it. There wasn't an argument. It wasn't I don't know if we have money. It wasn't any of that stuff.
It wasn't like a Veruca Salt moment. Like,
No.
I want it now.
So I'm like, we're getting it, right? You said we're getting it. And he's like, not today, blah, blah, blah. And so he gets on the escalator. So he goes to leave. My mother is there, though. My mother never left. So she's there with me. He didn't leave the store. He got up the escalator, felt bad, turned around, came down, and on the way down, he just goes, we already got it for you for Christmas. And so, of course, classic my parents. At that point, the cat is out of the bag, so we went home, and they just gave it to me. They're like, well, you already know Christmas is ruined. Here you go. And I didn't care. At that point, like, I knew the Santa Claus deal. I was older. And so it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to get it in a few days anyway. I didn't ask if I could have it when we got home. They were just like, well, he knows, so just give it to him. It's fine. We were going to someone's house for Christmas and Christmas Eve anyway. So there wasn't we didn't have a bunch of like alone time at home. The specialness of Christmas morning for us was always like just waking up, breakfast, like my mother would make pancakes, and we watched the Disney Parks Christmas parade.
Yeah.
That was a tradition. The gifts obviously were a part of it, but as the years went on, it didn't become about the gifts. It became like it's about waking up with family and celebrating the morning and watching the parade together. And
Once I became an adult, I almost didn't want gifts because my philosophy was kind of like, if it's something that's in that price range of like a gift that you would get for me, I probably have already, and I want it, I probably have bought it. Where all the things that I want are things I can't afford and wouldn't expect someone else to give me as a gift. Yeah. So that's tough, but every now and then someone has surprised me with a really nice and thoughtful gift, and that's great. One year, my grandmother gave us these gifts, and my grandma, this is my dad's mom, would say, I won't be offended if you don't like this. I bought this, and I wasn't sure if you would want it or not. So if you don't want it, don't be afraid to just tell me, and then we can exchange it and get something else. So one year, she gave me a sweater. And it was almost like a tie-dyed sweater. It's almost like somebody put it on a flat table and spun it around and just like bleached in a spiral around it. And she gave my brother one too, different colors. And I was like, I'm not really feeling it. So I was like, well, if you're going to the store, can we exchange this for something else? And my parents did not like me doing that. Oh. It was like, even though grandma was like, please tell me, my parents were like, that's not cool.
You still don't do that.
Yeah, I still don't do that. So
I get that.
Gifts are tough, man.
Yeah.
Gifts are tough. All right. Well, we've talked about a little bit about our holiday traditions.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas again to everybody. But now it's time for the real gift. The Voices of Literacy. I have 3 today. If you want to write into Voices of Literacy, it's Eric at WDWNT.com or Eric M at WDW. That's my real
But
name.
not whatever Eric announced months ago on the show. Don't email that one.
Podcast.
Don't even say it.
Did Jason do the thing
you asked? No.
Nope. All right. This one comes to us from Ben K. He says, hey, Tom and Eric, I was in the parks last week for the first time in a few years, and my family always gives me grief for being the one to keep everyone in the group moving, making sure we see as much as possible. This led me to wonder what you guys were like as visitors to the parks before you lived in Orlando and knew you only had a very limited time in the parks. What did park days look like for you guys before you lived there? Did you rush to see as much as possible, or were you able to just enjoy what you could and didn't feel pressured to do everything? I'd love a breakdown of what a Corliss or Morton family park day looked like back when you guys were younger, non-Florida residents. This is probably more pertinent to you because your family was hardcore parks people.
I don't know that it is because we went a couple times a year, and because we went a couple times a year, I never felt that pressure to do everything. Weirdly, like that. I feel more like we were big restaurant people, and so it was all about booking the table service restaurants we had to eat at. Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, the counter service food wasn't, I mean, it's way better now than it was then. It's still not exceptional, but like the counter service food when I was a kid was kind of gross. It wasn't great. And so they wanted to eat at sit-down restaurants. And so it would always be about like, oh, let's make sure we get our character breakfast. Also, we were big character breakfast people. So it was always about getting those character breakfasts. And so we weren't, rope drop rarely happened purely because we were at the character meals. And what we do is we'd have a big breakfast. Lunch would usually be like a package of McDonald's fries from the fry cart or whichever park it was, or the glazed almonds. We really liked the glazed almonds. And then we would have dinner at like 6, 7 o'clock. Those were we had breakfast and dinner to sit down, and that was kind of the food for the day. But it was important. Like we always wanted to eat Alfredos. That was important in Italy. And Tony's was, even though disgusting, for some reason, because there just wasn't good food at Magic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. So Tony's and Liberty Tree I thought was always more edible. Those were the two we always did there. But that more so than, obviously there were rides that we had to do every trip, but it never felt like I'm like, ask Rosanna about her first trip to Tokyo. I'm militant. Because everything, she's like, I didn't talk to him the first 2 hours of the day because he had to book everything out for the day, all the ride reservations and standby passes and everything that had to be booked for the day. But so if it's someone's first time, like Tokyo, if I go by myself, I'm less like that. But if it's people's first time, I can be probably as intense as you are about going to Disney World because those places are further away. Because we live here, it's hard to be like, let's go to the park and really, let's just go at it and do every ride in the park tomorrow. And you take it for granted because you live here.
I think so. I went to Disneyland the first time when I was 2, so I don't remember a ton. Then I went again when I was like 8. So when you're 8, like I have memories, but they were like we had family that lived down there, so it wasn't like we're on a Disneyland vacation. It's like we went on vacation, and one day of that was stopping at Disneyland. So, obviously as a kid, it was you got to do Space Mountain. This is the same. Then when I didn't go to Disney World until I was a teenager, and it was a one-day trip over because my dad had moved to Florida. So my family was never, ever, ever we're going to stay at a Disney resort hotel. That was way out of reach. Like I knew intuitively that would never happen, right? We did do table service. My first trip to the Magic Kingdom when I was 15-ish, I remember very well. And among those things, we went to Liberty Tree. And it was very good. I mean, I had like a grilled chicken sandwich and a sherbet punch. I remember they had waffle fries back then. That might have been the first time that might be the first time I ever had waffle cut fries. But I remember Liberty Tree's obviously a lot different now. But I remember that. I was like, that felt like really a fancy experience to me because usually my life had not been getting table service in Disney World, right? It was typically, here's $20. You want some souvenir. And I bought sunglasses. Like I didn't even buy like, hey, look at me, I went to Disney World stuff. I actually probably went harder at Boardwalk and baseball on that trip. And so that was for those that don't know, that's now like a Best Buy and JCPenney and Kohl's or whatever at the corner of 27 and I-4. I went when I was younger because I wanted the Royals. I was a Royals fan. And that was their spring training home. And the Bo Jackson was the big draw. So I wanted to go see Bo Jackson in spring training. Yeah. So we went there. Boardwalk and baseball was great too.
That was Circus World before Boardwalk and baseball.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Yep. A fun rabbit hole to fall down.
If you live in the area, if you live like in Davenport and that area where you go into, I think it's called Posner Park.
Yep, that's the name.
You go in there and you'll see it's called like Home Run Drive and all the streets are named after
They kept the names.
That's because that was a spring training facility. Right, so
it was kind of like a spring training facility and tourist attraction for baseball fans.
Yeah, they had a really good live game show, and my stepmom was chosen to be on the game show. It's mostly like sports trivia.
Yeah.
But it was more. You didn't have to know real specific things about sports. It was more general, so that someone that wasn't huge. It was cute, and they give you a VHS tape of your performance afterwards and all that kind of stuff. I hope that answers your question. I'm not. I've never felt like I was a go hard and hit everything person in the parks. I always felt like my favorite part of Disney World is there's so much to explore, and I never want to check everything off the list because then it's like, it's kind of like fast forwarding to the end of a movie. Like I'd rather enjoy it. So that's me. Thanks for writing in, Ben. All right, next one is from Jacob. I put my glasses back on. Jacob says, "Hey, Tom and Eric. Recently, I was shown by a friend an aerial photo of the Magic Kingdom construction and realized that Imagination Campus has been demolished. I was wondering if you had heard anything about this and could give me or anyone else curious any information. I got to go back there once with my high school marching band. As a hardcore fan, I loved getting to see backstage. I know that doesn't affect many of the regular guests, but I would hate to see it go for good. Thanks, Jacob." So Jacob sent a screenshot, which I've given to Billy. Billy can show it here on the podcast. And you can see it, where the Imagination Campus was backstage there, now gone. I don't know that means they're not doing it because, like, I was there the other day. There's certainly Imagination Campus, a group of hundreds of dancers walking down Main Street.
Yeah, the programs are still going.
Yeah, the program is going. I just don't know where they put them. They might just bust them in the backstage.
I forget where the other locations are. But, yeah, either way, it still exists. I would bet anything there's probably a new facility coming when all this is done, but that would be my bet. But maybe they want it out of Magic Kingdom. Maybe they're like, we just don't need this anymore.
Well, I mean, there's so much going on back there right now that it's just, I drive past there every day. And I could tell you, like, even you would be surprised if you drive from here to my house and look.
Yeah, I've been recently. It's
to that side, like the size of, I don't even know. There's a giant dirt pile, and I don't know if it's intended to be a berm or if it's
lay down yard.
Right. So I don't know if it's intended to be a berm or if it's all just working dirt that they're using for things. It's not clear to me yet. But something new is gone, or they were burning stuff yesterday.
Yeah.
There's so much going on back there. It's insane. Plus that road, the never-ending road construction between like between like the toll plaza and like Grand Floridian and then beyond to where I live it is insane how long that has been going on.
Yep.
And every time I drive past, I'm like, it looks like they're pretty close. And last night when I was on my way to back, I went home real quick, came back to the studio for News Tonight. And when I did, there was like a line of dump trucks like with flashing lights rolling in. I was like, oh, this might be the night. Like we might come and this is all paved tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
But I mean, certainly there's been a lot of movement on that in the last week, which is the guard shack open and all of the like
the entrance to
pathing for the entrance to the Poly is different, and the actual traffic pattern on Floridian is different. Like it's shifted over, and you can see like, oh, there's a lot of road here, and so that's imminent, and it's going to be a major change for people. But
we're
but
talking about a project that's over a decade. All this road. It started on the right side of the park. Those flyovers, the overpasses. The realignment of the roads, like how you get to Fort Wilderness, all of that. And they've slowly worked their way across what they did by the Speedway and all of that, the gas station, the actual Speedway too. But what happened in that corner, and now we're at the last phase, which is that side.
It's incredible what's going on there. They changed the whole golf course. There's just a lot that has happened there.
Big project.
But yeah, I hope they have some place to put these kids and store their instruments.
But either way, it's continuing on. I don't know what the temporary fix is. I'm sure there is one.
All right, last letter. This one is from Thomas. Hi, Eric and Tom. My bride and I have the hardest time explaining to our friends the hazards of trying to maximize park time during a Disney vacation. This is similar to our first question. Especially with young children, older folks, etc., the park can be so overwhelming. Trying to go rope drop to fireworks is often just too much of a good thing. But people insist on spending every moment they can in the parks, even when they're clearly miserable from 4 p.m. on. Can you go through a less is more Disney vacation utilizing down days and time at Disney Springs or others, stuff on the boardwalk, so that time spent in the park is giving you the value that you paid for? I think this is a great question.
Wow.
I have a lot to say about this.
Go ahead.
People go too hard. People are too committed to like needing to do everything, and it does rob you of that like lifetime journey of like going to Disney World, Walt Disney World in particular, not just parks, but experiencing all the property has to offer.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, the property there are amazing swimming pools, there are amazing experiences, there are horse rides, and there are golf courses, and there's so much to do. And the reason you spend all this money and look forward to this vacation, hopefully, is that you get some time to relax. So I realize that some people get a dopamine rush of like crushing the parks and doing everything, and I'm kind of the opposite. So I've had experiences staying at Disney resorts, and I think the best move is to rope drop, like Magic Kingdom. The best way to do Magic Kingdom is absolutely to rope drop it, especially during the Halloween and Christmas season on a day when there's a party. Because if the day there's a party, the parks are dead in the morning. You can literally do everything at Magic Kingdom by like 11 a.m. and get out of there. Go back to your hotel, lay by the pool, take a nap, go get a nice meal somewhere, stroll around Disney Springs, boardwalk, set aside time to relax, because going to theme parks is not relaxing. Going to theme parks is the opposite of relaxation. Going to theme parks is an adrenaline rush, and it's fun and it's beautiful and you create amazing memories, but it is not the thing where you're like, oh, I feel so much less stressed here. Theme parks cause stress. So you got to find that balance, and I think that balance is to get a bunch of stuff done in the morning and relax. Go back at night for the fireworks if you want to. I would pick a nighttime spectacular that you absolutely have to do, and go do that. If you want to go back to Magic Kingdom one of those nights for a parade and fireworks, absolutely be my guest. But don't make it so you have this checklist of things you have to do. That's part of why I think Lightning Lane ruins vacations, has ruined a Disney experience, because you've lost the spirit of sort of discovery and improvisation. Instead, you are literally going to the parks with a schedule in mind and like landmarks and mileposts you have to hit all day long to make sure that you get this Lightning Lane in time and that one. It's just ridiculous. Now, a hack, Lightning Lanes, you have like that hour window to show up for your Lightning Lane. They will hold that for 3 hours. Not 3 hours and 1 minute, but they'll hold it for 3 hours. But after 1 hour, you can book another lightning lane. So you could be late to that lightning lane if you want to slow down the pace.
Yeah.
And I'm all about slowing down the pace, right? I love appreciating what people have created in theme parks more than I love screaming my head off because I got to go on the latest e-ticket ride 3 times. That's me, right? Everybody's different. That's the way I look at it. So, yes, I would say do that. Go to Springs. Whatever, if you're staying at a Disney resort, absolutely chill by the pool, have a cocktail, and go to Hoop-Dee-Doo. Like, you know what I mean? All these things that are, people don't think about, right?
Yeah.
Everyone loves Hoop-Dee-Doo a lot of people love Hoop-Dee-Doo.
Yeah.
But, go out to Fort Wilderness where the pace completely changes. It's completely incongruent from the rest of the resort. I love it. What about you?
I guess I could be guilty of the go, depending on the place and the scenario. But when I took my parents first time to Paris or Tokyo, I know they're older, and the pace is not going to be that. And so I did what's probably not the most reasonable thing to do, but book a longer trip because it's like, well, I'm not going to run them ragged. They're not going to enjoy it. So you maybe more days and I think it's feasible. Like, I'm not saying you have to do an extra week, but if you add a day or two onto the trip where you're like, okay, well, then we could break up Magic Kingdom into 3 days. We don't have to feel like we have to go open to close, and we don't have to rope. We should rope drop, but maybe we don't have to stay long. And midday when it gets busy, we'll go somewhere. I think give yourself extra time if it's financially viable, I think is the best answer, because if you are one of those people that's like, if I don't see everything in the course of the trip, not necessarily one day, but if I don't see everything in the course of the trip, I'm going to feel like it wasn't worth it. I think give yourself the time to do that, but at an enjoyable pace.
I think there's room for like a hybrid sort of lodging mentality to stretch your dollars a little bit. Like get a couple days, 2 or 3 nights in a Disney resort, so you get those extra magic hours. You can get there early and knock things out, and then there's a million really nice properties off property.
Yeah.
And every bit as nice as any Disney resort you'll stay at. It doesn't have that same touch of magic, right? A little bit logistical challenge, transportation-wise, possibly.
Yeah.
But, like, you could stretch your bucks a little bit and stay for a week, and instead of spending $5,000 on a hotel, you spend,
And that was always my
2,000.
philosophy is I'd rather go longer. So,
Yeah.
When I started paying for my own trips, it was like, I'll stay somewhere cheaper. Not so much in the age of WDWNT making money, because then it became like an odyssey to be like, I would like to film every hotel room on Earth.
You do insane things. I've seen Tom go. I've seen Tom go on a trip for like 4 days and stay at 4 different hotels.
Yeah. The opening of Hotel New York, The Art of Marvel, like for a full week, every night we're in a different room.
Yeah, he's in the same hotel and he's switching rooms every day.
Because we don't have content of it. I'd like to document things. The Japan trip, Rosanna's first Japan trip, we changed hotels way too much. She wanted to kill me because we just kept bouncing between different room types and different places. And Tokyo Disney does offer that challenge, though. If you are not on the booking site day of, and sometimes even if you are, it's very hard to get contiguous days booked. And so it's like, well, on your first trip, we'd really like to stay at the Tokyo Disney Hotel in Miracosta, at least for a night. And it becomes about watching cancellations. And so at that point, then you've booked preemptively some off-site hotels, but then you finally get the Tokyo Disneyland reservation. You're like, well, now we got to cancel that and rebook that hotel from this date to this date, not this date, but then the day after this day, and blah, blah, blah.
Insanity.
To make that work, because, again, like the Tokyo Disney is so hard because the whole audience knows how to do it. So imagine Disney World if every guest going to Disney World knew every in and out and every secret.
Yeah.
It's near impossible. It becomes a real fight to get the things you want to book. So they just announced for the 25th anniversary of Disney Sea, they're going to do a special thing at the SS Columbia. So it's the big fake ship. There's a restaurant called the SS Columbia Dining Room. Beautiful space. They're doing a special thing only from April to June, where there's a special ticketed event in the restaurant. So again, it's only from April to June, and everyone there is a super fan, and everyone knows how to book things. They know the tricks. So will we get to see it while we're there? Probably not. Probably we'll book up for the first few days, and I won't get to see it. It's just the way that goes. I couldn't believe last year we got that Donald Duck room. That was a big. Nana and Rosanna and I were fighting to get that Donald Duck themed room, but we got it. Please go watch the video to make me feel better.
I just want to make one more comment pertinent to Tom's question, which is if you have a good mixture of people, you have young people, you have older people, you have people that really want to do the things and check things off the list. You have some people that want a lesser pace. Disney Cruise Line is a great opportunity. There's something for all age groups there.
Yeah.
Any pace you can absolutely go and do a million things on the ship and feel fulfilled, and you can go and do nothing and have a great time.
The cruise director, every morning they have that morning show, will say exactly that.
Yeah.
If you want to do a million things, here they are. And if you want to do none of them, that's okay as well. Enjoy your cruise. I will say, as a park person, I guarantee you I promise you there are people watching or listening to this right now who are hardcore park people and they want to go. And well, we just said to them about taking a slower pace and everything. They're like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to hit it. I'm going to go like a military
And I get
mission.
that.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you those people like listen, they hear you talk about the cruise and they're like, no, that sounds boring. And I was that person forever until we went. And then once it went, it's a cult. You are in the cult from the first one. It's addictive. You want to go back. It is so much of what you love about the Disney experience that was at Walt Disney World still lives on there. Yeah, there's no rides necessarily. I guess there's a couple.
The Aqua Mouse.
Yeah,
the Aqueduct.
Aqua Mouse and Aqueduct. But it's not about any of that because it's not what it is.
What's interesting, though, is you can look at that itinerary on your app on the ship.
Yeah.
You can absolutely fill every second of your – like you can run from one thing to the next.
Oh, sometimes you have to pick because there's so much – and you're like, well, I can't do them all. They're all overlapping. And if the cruise is busy, if it's a sold-out cruise, you then like have to show up early for stuff.
Yeah.
Like trivia. There were trivias on the last cruise. We tried to go to 15 minutes before, and it's like we couldn't get in the place.
Yeah.
But generally – I will say like those earlier cruises – I wanted to see everything. So we just like every single thing on the itinerary. And I think as time has gone on and you've learned what certain things are, it's like, okay, maybe we don't have to go to. Also, I stopped going to trivia because they ruined it.
They're all repetitive. They've
terrible.
ruined it with this.
Everyone knows the answers and they claim. I get so mad on social media. I see a TikTok and someone's walking around with like 6 medals. And it's like, yeah. And then I see comments from people that are like, yeah, but you know all the answers because they're the same every time.
Yeah.
And the person's like, no, actually, I didn't know. And I'm like, oh, sure.
I have a photo of about 7 medals when I went on a cruise, but it was before Knowsmore. And it was like the old school days. But I just think there's something for everyone on there. And it's not the cheapest way to like travel.
No.
But when you factor in all that, like, a cool thing we did. We went to Italy when we did the Mediterranean cruise. One day we had adjoining rooms. Me, Lee, my sister Hillary, and Jill Diffendahl. And we had adjoining rooms and adjoining balconies. And one day we were all just a little spent.
Yeah.
And we're like, let's just have a room service buffet. Mm-hmm. So we just order room service, get it all brought. It's included in your fare.
Yeah.
Right? And just sat out a spread and had a good time. We didn't bother about whatever restaurant we were supposed to be at and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. Speaking of food, it's time for weird snack time.
I love that this whole episode is just going to be like all of our like all the
we
filler.
Talked about the holidays.
This is the filler episode.
Holiday filler.
All the things that usually lead to a topic are the episode.
Billy, the title of this episode is Tom and Eric's Holiday Filler Content.
I think it's a terrible title. Figure it out. So this is actually a fall or Halloween item.
I don't even know what it is. Is that apple pie?
I think it's apple pie.
These are
But
Kit
they're
Kats.
ghosts.
It's all in. Is that even Japanese? It's a limited edition Japanese Kit Kat mini apple pie flavor bag designed for Halloween. Here we go.
But is it apple pie?
Mini apple pie.
A mini apple pie.
Oh, but this looks like there's more than one.
They're just different colors.
They're just different wrappers.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're how cute.
Has a very nice little
Look
ghost
at this
on
ghost
here.
shoving this jack-o'-lantern man.
Violent ghost.
Oh, he's on the back too. Cute. Miss Japan. Oh, it smells like apple pie. They actually smell like apple pie. A lot of cinnamon.
It tastes like apple cider.
Fair. It's really good, though. Do you not like it? Because it's fruit.
No, I like it.
I really like those.
We rate things 1 out of 7. Not star. We don't do 7 stars. We'll do 7 apple ghosts. I don't know. I don't know.
7 apple. Don't make
Look
him
at
make
this
an
ghost.
image
Look at
for
this
that.
ghost. Look at this like ghost with devil horns on him. Here, Billy. There he is. I'm gonna give it a 6.
I'm with you. That's exactly what I was going to
6.
say.
Good job, Kit Kat.
Good
They're
job,
just killing the
Japan
game.
Kit Kat. I'm sure in April when we do the Tom Cruise is Better in Japan tour, everyone will want to stop to buy Kit Kats.
Am I correct? That's been sold out. That event is sold out.
Event sold out. Yeah, we're done.
It was sold out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I like that before it went on sale, Jason and a couple other people were like, it'll be on sale for a while. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you know how I go on and on and on. And I think there's so many people that are like looking for the excuse to go. And I think us going and saying, we'll take you was the excuse. People are like, oh, yeah, okay. Let him show me how to do this. And I think it'll be fun.
I want to mention, I know you talked about it in the news today, but I mean, devastating news yesterday that Eddie Sotto has passed away. Eddie Sotto, I know that like he's probably not the first name that comes out of everyone's mouth when they talk about Imagineering, but I will say in Paris, he's a big deal, right? I mean, he's a big deal. He's a creative force of nature. Yeah. He did so much great stuff in a really a pretty brief window of time, as about 13 years.
Yeah.
But I would say like most people who are Disney fans in Paris know his name, and he is given pretty much equal stature to like Tony Baxter in Paris. Like
anyone in that group.
Yeah,
Tim
anyone
Delaney,
in that group. Tim Delaney, Tony Baxter, Eddie Sotto. He's, as far as I know, is his voice still on the railroad there? Is that
his voice is everywhere? The railroad there, the railroad here.
Yeah,
that's him. The Main Street windows in Paris and some at Disneyland. He is Shrunken Ned at Disneyland.
Yeah.
So his voice all over the parks, which is a wonderful thing.
And he's not, by the way, this is not what he's known for. He's not a vocal artist.
No, he's an Imagineer.
He's an Imagineer. He's an artist. Before, like now, most of the art you see is theme park. I don't know. You see a lot of art around this kind of AI slop, or that it's imitating things. Yeah. Eddie was a brilliant artist. A really great creative force, and
he had such a head for themed entertainment.
I'm so pleased that we were able to, have him host him for an interview. Tom and I both saw him was it July at Disneyland?
It was so cool. I got to spend a couple hours with him. We were in Small World together.
He looked great.
Yeah, I think it's a good reminder, especially the holiday season. You're going to see family and friends that you don't see during the rest of the year. That you never know what tomorrow's going to be, so appreciate people when they're in your life. And I think, luckily with Eddie, I got to appreciate that because Eddie was kind of the first, I would dare say the first Imagineer that opened the door for us. He was always willing to do an interview and everything, and he was so personable, and just the way he talked about the business and the advice he would give was so helpful for us. And I don't know that all the events and things we've done with Imagineers would have happened without Eddie, like getting that ball rolling and
what a
us
loss.
Feeling comfortable we could do that. But yeah, I mean, and you'll see it every Imagineer you follow and don't follow on social media posted about Eddie. And I don't know that that's true of many people in the industry, but he was such a powerhouse and such a known entity and so respected and beloved that everyone in the themed entertainment industry has come out to say something about him, and I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Paul Osterhout about it yesterday. Yeah. Obviously, Bob Weiss has posted about it on social media. Every Imagineer that I'm associated with, like in my orbit and Facebook and everywhere else has talked about it. Eddie was just a beloved guy, and it's really a loss, and it's really shocking. And not to be a downer on a podcast, but if you are not familiar with Eddie's work, I highly recommend you watch the videos of Tom interviewing Eddie. There's multiple videos.
So we did one for Paris's 30th, which is purely about Main Street. We did another for Tokyo where he talked about, which I don't think a lot of people ask him about, where he taled about Honey Hunt and the Bon Voyage shop the work he did on the World Bazaar shops. So a lot of weird little and then something that never got built, Sci-Fi City. He spent a lot of time talking about too. And then even on News Today, we put an interview on News Today, which is not something we ever do, because Eddie had a pet project related to Space Mountain in Anaheim. They wanted to share music. He was a huge music aficionado. I love the picture of him at his cubicle at WDI, where it's all this beautiful art, but then there's a Ramones poster and Frank Sinatra. And I love that eclecticness of the Ramones next to Frank Sinatra. Yeah. And I think that just summarizes him as a person.
Distinctly New York.
So well. Yeah.
Two New York
that's true.
Acts.
Yeah.
So. It's incredible, and what he's done is fantastic. He's done stuff outside of Disney, including, you want to talk about the LAX thing?
Yeah, Encounter. That was a WDI project.
Oh, was that when he was with WDI?
Encounter.
Okay, I thought it was outside of that.
Encounter and the ABC thing for Disney in Times Square. Okay. That was still with WDI. WDI expanded into I forget the name of the division, but like an experiences thing, which I think somehow was connected to Disney Quest and ESPN Zone. I think that was all in the same vein. But specifically, one of the things in my life, I miss the fact that I never got to see Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland at Disneyland. That's one of those, or Adventure Through Inner Space. But then the other thing on that list is that I never ate at the LAX Encounter restaurant, because that just seemed like the coolest idea.
That is probably one of the top 2 or 3 most iconic structures in all of Los Angeles, right? At LAX. And to do a project in there is pretty cool.
It wasn't a good business idea, and he knew that. Eddie knew that. But creatively and artistically, please go down that rabbit hole. It is so cool. I'm so sad I didn't get to do it. But yeah, I mean, what an imprint that the Six Flags power plant, his work on that. And then just what he's meant since leaving WDI, what he's meant to the industry. I think he mentored so many people and did so many important projects. And then his connectivity to the online community is a magical thing. He was, and that was the magic of our relationship too, was because he worked in the industry and worked at such a high level, he never talked above anybody. He believed we were all the same as fans, because the magic of Disneyland Paris is that group of guys, Tim and Tony and Eddie and all of them, and Jeff Burke, all those guys, grew up going to Disneyland when they were kids. They were fans before we were. And so a bunch of fans like us were inspired to get into art and architecture and all these things, and then went to work at WED and built the greatest love letter to Walt Disney's park that could have been imagined. And that was the magic of these people, the true Disney magic. And I love that group so much. Eddie at the forefront for me. What a loss. But what he meant to the fan community, to just connect to people. You could just start a conversation. Anyone, he didn't care who you were. It didn't matter if you had followers, if you didn't, whatever. He would just have conversations with anyone about whatever the topic of the day was. And that was, I think, for so many people, that was such a magical moment as a fan, to be like, this guy who I respect and did so many things that I love is having a conversation with me just on this random Tuesday about what's going on at the park today, or sometimes just about, he would post the most amazing historical photos from his time at WDI, and that it's so important that those stories and those memories and those photos be shared, and I'm so glad Eddie shared all of that with us, so we have it forever.
And our community here has had a chance we've been fortunate enough to put some events together with some high-profile people throughout, that created, curated, imagined a lot of things for Disney parks around the world. And here in this studio, in addition, like you having several interviews with Eddie that you did from the studio remotely, and we've had a chance to meet Eddie there, but our audience had a chance to meet Bill Sullivan. He has passed away
Disney
now.
Legend,
Ron Logan.
Disney Legend.
He has passed away. Yeah. Disney legend, like Eddie Sotto. These people have such a wealth of things that they did that shaped this thing that so many people love so passionately, and we're losing them. So it's important to understand who built whose shoulders that people are standing on now. And I think part of that is has led to a little snark in the community of current projects that people think fail or whatever. Not that these people that in the past didn't fail with big projects from time to time. Yeah. I think there's this sense that like these guys are giants, and we're standing on their shoulders. You need to be careful with this thing and protect it. And you know, these are people that we're losing, and you know, we're going to keep doing these events. We're going to keep bringing these people to you and educating the audience about what they do.
It's so important that the stories be preserved. And I think it's even more important that in their lifetimes, these people understand the impact they've had on others.
Yeah.
I think that's what's special about those events. That's why they're my favorite thing we do, period.
Well, this is probably a good spot for us to wrap up.
I think so.
A bit of a downer, but also, you know, I hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about the holidays and respond to some of these questions. It's been a little bit of a haphazard episode, and we understand that, you know, not everyone will like our change in the schedule. If you're used to watching the podcast on Tuesdays, now it's going to go on Saturdays. Let us know. We're open to feedback in that area. And I want to know your holiday traditions. Tell us your holiday traditions, whether they're Disney adjacent or not. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time right here on the WDW News Today podcast.
We'll see you real soon. Now give me another apple pie Kit Kat.